A lot of stuff has been damaged.
Right now at 6, apartments gutted by fire. What's next for dozens left homeless?
If y'all came here for education, you should have went to Harvard.
And the UNC scandal, a former football player on how his coaches viewed academics.
Live from the Triangle, this is WNCN News at 6.
An emotional day for people in Raleigh left homeless after an apartment fire. Good evening, I'm Sharon Tazwell.
And I'm Sean Murray. Thanks for joining us. It happened yesterday afternoon at the Cambridge Apartments off of Six Forks Road. That's where we find WNCN's Justin Quisenberry, who's live there tonight. Good evening, Justin.
Good evening, Sean. The fire department says smoking materials caused this fire, and today we learned why it may have spread.
These empty boxes will soon be filled with whatever can be saved from the dozen units affected by yesterday's fire. A number of the 15 people burned out came here today, pulling out everything from furniture to electronics. According to the Raleigh Fire Department, the units had a sprinkler system, but sprinklers were not required on balconies when the complex was built, and that's where the fire started. The Red Cross has already given about $10,000 worth of aid for housing, clothing, and medicine. People I spoke with today are grateful for that as they comb through what they have and discover what they lost.
Everything is smoke-filled, water damage, my clothes. I have some stuff, but I'm going to have to discard it. I mean, furniture, my TV, my computer. Just, a lot of stuff has been damaged.
How does this change your life?
It has.
So back live out here, you can see that people are still out here, even in the dark, trying to pick through what they can. This is a lot of furniture here that one young man has set aside. And you heard in that interview that this has been a very emotional day for that woman. She says she's just focused on the fact that she and her neighbors are alive tonight. And tonight at 7, we hear from her and an 88-year-old woman who ran out of this building barefoot about what's next for them. Live in Raleigh, Justin Quisenberry, WNCN News.
Justin, since this happened, we've been seeing so many emotional stories. That woman struck me in your package, the one who lost everything, who was moved to tears. What is encouraging for her now that her life is forever changed? What did she tell you?
Well, again, she is focused on the fact that she made it out alive, and so did her little dog. She said it's just the two of them. They've been here alone for the last year, and she really takes some comfort in the fact that her coworker actually came out here with her today to help her load up. So even though she doesn't have family in this area, she's kind of got a family with her coworkers, and everyone out here is in this together. Sean?
All right, a community coming together in the face of such tragedy. Justin, thank you. So let's dig deeper. Landlords are allowed to require renters insurance, but it's not a state requirement. A landlord's insurance only covers the property, not your possessions. Renter's insurance generally does cover those possessions and you in case someone's injured.
New developments in the UNC academic scandal, a former football player giving us his perspective into how the football program viewed classroom work. It comes after Kenneth Weinstein's report that hundreds of players were steered into paper classes, ones with little to no instruction, so that they could remain eligible. Tydreek Powell was the star defensive tackle for the Tar Heels from 2008 to 2011. He even represented the team at the ACC kickoff event in 2011 and addressed the sanctions that would ultimately lead to a postseason ban.
We just focus on what we can focus on and just deal what we can deal with.
3 years later, and things have dramatically changed. A man identifying himself as Powell opened up to a Greensboro radio station, WJMH, yesterday about former coach Butch Davis.
Butch Davis came into a meeting one day, man, and he said, if y'all came here for education, you should have went to Harvard. What do we supposed to do? That's our leader, man.
Davis was never directly connected to any academic misconduct or NCAA violation. He's rarely spoken about the academic scandal, except this video posted months after his 2011 firing.
Education has been one of my core values my entire life.
Powell's teammates came to Davis's support today, including quarterback TJ Yates. Quote, "It's sad that a few men have tried to tarnish the reputation of so many that did it the right way. I stand behind Butch Davis."
Davis.
North Carolina takes the title.
The man identified as Powell also sheds light on the basketball program and players' involvement in those paper classes.
If you ain't got a class with a basketball player, you gotta go find one. If you got one with them, you know it's a.
The Weinstein report states UNC basketball coach Roy Williams and other coaches were aware of independent studies in the African and Afro-American Studies Department offering easy grades, but didn't know they were bogus. Powell, who did take some of those paper classes, did graduate with a degree in communication studies.
And we could not reach Powell for comment today. In this chart, take a look, shows student-athlete enrollment in those paper classes. It peaks right around the year 2005 and then dramatically dips down. Now, when Administrator Deborah Crowder announced her retirement, she was known for giving easy A's. Many football and Olympic sport players started re-enrolling in order to get one last chance to raise their GPA. However, basketball player enrollment stayed flat.
Turning now to weather, millions of Americans bracing for the Arctic blast that's already swept across the upper Midwest. In Montana, the wind chill dropped to 20 below zero. In Minnesota, it left dozens of cars and trucks stranded along this highway. In some places, the storm dumped more than a foot of snow. So what can we expect here and when? Chief Meteorologist Wes Homestein is here now with the latest. Hi, Wes.
Hi, Sean. Good evening to you and to you at home. We've got one more warm day before the cold air gets here Thursday. That cold air already to our west. We're going to show this map in phases. First, these are just the temperature contours of our current temperatures. And you can obviously see there's a change back here in the Midwest, the Tennessee Valley. All right, so let's put in the cold front now. That cuts right through Kentucky and Tennessee. It'll be through here tomorrow night. Now the current temperatures. And the story I shared last night, Kansas City dropped 20 degrees in 2 hours. How about St. Louis this morning? They left for work, temperatures in the 60s. By lunchtime, they were in the 30s. So again, it's that type of cold air that will be here on Thursday. So tomorrow we still have a warm day. That area of low pressure we thought would bring us a small chance of rain. It actually moved farther away offshore, so we hardly had any rain, and actually a decent day today with temperatures in the low 70s. So overnight tonight, not going to be all that chilly. A comfortable evening. By 8 o'clock, we're down to about 59, 54 with clear skies at midnight, and you're on your way out the door tomorrow morning. Might have a little bit of fog, but it's going to be about 50. We've got a couple days that our highs won't even get up to 50 on the 7-day. I'll tell you when that will happen in just a few minutes.
All right, Wes, thank you. And as we look at the Raleigh skyline on this beautiful evening, there's a way to get prepared for all these big weather changes. We want to remind you about the WNCN app. There's live radar, forecasts, and more. Just search WNCN in the App Store for your Apple or Android device.
Well, thousands of people in the Triangle honoring veterans and those who died protecting our country. Dozens attended a wreath-laying ceremony at the Durham VA. And among those in attendance, Michael Hoke, who's been battling PTSD for years. Michael says families make great sacrifices during and after deployment.
It's a struggle for them if their loved one is deployed, or even if they're at home and when they come home they can't adjust. So that's another struggle for them. So, you know, it's more of a struggle for the families than it is for us.
Well, Hoke is one of 50,000 vets who receive outpatient services at Durham's VA hospital. And the state is also turning an abandoned building in Butner into a Veterans Life Center. It'll offer treatment for substance abuse and mental health. By the time it opens next year, the center will hold 150 beds for vets in need.
A lot of veterans who have come back from every war with problems. World War II certainly had plenty of them, but they had each other, and people understood their problems. And that's been, now you've got 1% of the public involved in the military.
Well, Governor Pat McCrory got a tour today. More than $4 million in federal grant money will help pay for the center. And the Department of Housing and Urban Development tracks veteran homelessness. In this chart shows that it's dropped 33% in 2010. There were about 75,000 homeless vets across the country. And this past January, that number was 49,000. A new White House campaign is challenging mayors to end veteran homelessness. More than 200 have joined.
And today's weather was perfect today for Spring Lake's Veterans Day ceremony just outside Fort Bragg. A few dozen people attended the ceremony. Spring Lake's population's around 3,000, and many of them are veterans or have other military connections. After the recognition of several veterans, participants placed a wreath at the town's Armed Services Monument.
I think Spring Lake does its best to make sure that we recognize, our veterans who are currently serving, but also the ones who have served. And I was really pleased with the ceremony today.
4 out of the 5 Spring Lake staff members who participate in today's ceremonies are veterans. And thousands of servicemen and women became U.S. citizens today. 6 armed services members raised their right hand and took the oath in Durham. And although today marks their formal recognition as a U.S. citizen, many feel like they've been a citizen for a long time.
Well, to me, it didn't really make a difference because since I grew up here, I love this country, and I grew up pretty much being an American, and that's the mindset that I had.
Oh, you're going to go back?
Nearly 40 naturalization ceremonies were held today.
And now it's official on paper. That's good. Well, coming up, a brilliant idea in Durham.
That was kind of an aha moment.
A man's mission to give people money for their great photos.
I am a living example of how those protocols work.
And Ebola in America, a patient on what healthcare workers did right when he was treated.
But first, here's a live look at I-440 and Wade Avenue for your drive home, or if you're expecting someone back. No problems to report right now. We're coming right back.
Live from the Triangle, this is WNCN News at 6.
An ER doctor who was the first Ebola patient in the nation's biggest city is now out of the hospital. Welcome back to WNCN News at 6. I'm Sean Maroney.
And I'm Sharon Tazwell. Dr. Craig Spencer was released from Bellevue Hospital in New York today, and thanks to the medical workers who treated him. It's been 19 days since Dr. Spencer was diagnosed with Ebola, and he says he's a living example for how medical protocols can work to stop disease from spreading.
Early detection is critical to both surviving Ebola and ensuring that it is not transmitted to others.
Well, Dr. Spencer, who works with Doctors Without Borders, wants people to stay focused on the source of the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. 5,000 people have died in the outbreak. And we have learned that Homeland Security is not ready for an outbreak and that there's not enough supplies or drugs to handle an outbreak. An audit shows the agency wasted much of the $47 million supplied by Congress to prepare for a pandemic. So here at home, local government often relies on federal resources to help in times of need. But predicting when and where a pandemic will pop up is difficult.
There's always new communicable disease threats that are emerging, and so we have to sort of have a system that's not just focused on one particular illness, but ready to prepare to respond to any of these new emerging conditions.
Our Emma Wright digs deeper into North Carolina's pandemic preparedness tonight at 11 on WNCN.
Tonight on What's Next, social media tells us many, many things about people's behavior. One, though, is we love pictures, and two, we love winning prizes. Our Mike Gonzalez explains why a local man's new site, Snap Yeti, is a win for both businesses and customers. It's What's Next.
Making money.
You never know where a great idea may come from.
I was living in the mountains and I was just taking photos and putting them on Facebook. And one day my landlord asked if she could use a couple of those photos in exchange for a couple ski lift tickets. And I said yes, because that was kind of an aha moment. And so they created contests on
Justin Beard combined that aha moment with pictures and another name for Bigfoot and created Snap Yeti, the site that rewards people for sharing great photos.
So Snap Yeti is a place for people to find photo contests to try to compete and win really cool prizes. Give a quick breathe through.
Beard, still needing a little direction, took his idea to American Underground in Durham.
And this is an incubator for people that just have an idea and want to validate that model.
Snap Yeti went on to win a $50,000 NC Idea grant. The concept is simple. Brands create photo contests encouraging users to upload a photo. At the end of the contest, the photo with the most admirers wins. This cat contest shows the site's reach.
2,200 people upload 2,900 photos just to win a $100 prize. So that just shows the viral effect of what a photo contest can do for a brand. Took that money and we're able to scale our
That viral nature is attracting more customers. Snap Yeti's photo contest marketplace has 140 brands and 45,000 users. Nowadays, Beard and product scientist Dan Moore work tirelessly to perfect Snap Yeti.
We're living in a world today where people are sharing over 1 billion photos. They're really broadcasting their lives and sharing what brands they love in subtle and not so subtle ways. The best is yet to come.
For What's Next, I'm Mike Gonzalez, WNCN News.
So cat pictures, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I mean anything with pets, and people are always sharing their pictures, and you can win some money. Why not do it?
Yeah, why not do that? It looks like a great idea. Also, a Duke grad has an innovative way to provide life-saving resources to developing countries.
Yeah, Jennifer Farrow came up with Critical Link. You see, in countries like Bangladesh, there's no 911 system, so unless someone's near a hospital, the chances of surviving an emergency are much lower than, say, the United States. Well, Jennifer came up with a way to register 500 volunteers for a mobile dispatch app. It's like Uber for emergency responders.
People die of things that are very treatable, a broken leg that just bleeds a lot. And so if you can get basic care to people quickly, it doesn't need to be advanced care. And so that's the idea.
The Critical Link app will be available for download this Friday. Pretty cool. And that's just one example of what's next in our area. For other stories on great ideas and innovators, go to YouTube and click on the WNCN page. All of our stories are under their What's Next tab.
And now your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein.
All right, we're a little more than 36 hours away from the great cold front of 2014. While it will not bring us any rain when it comes through, it'll bring a lot of cold air after it moves through. And tomorrow morning, it's going to start off around 50 degrees, maybe a little fog, but remember that number, 50 degrees tomorrow morning, because we've got about 3 or 4 highs on the 7-day that are barely that, and that's our low tomorrow, because it is going to be a warm day, 73 degrees, then the front comes through, and then look what it does. A chilly start Thursday morning, but highs that are, again, are close to tomorrow's lows. So that tells you what kind of cold we're dealing with. And again, it's not here until Thursday. Tomorrow, a pretty warm day. Tonight, a pretty decent day, considering it's the middle of November. 59 in the next few hours with clear skies overnight. No rain, of course, to talk about. Temperatures slowly falling through the mid-50s overnight. Could have a little bit of patchy fog tomorrow morning. You're going to want to check in with Alyssa before you hit the road tomorrow between 5 and 7. 50 degrees is where we will start. And again, we've got some much colder air coming. But again, not tomorrow. 73 is our 3-degree guaranteed temperature high as we continue to highlight Alliance Medical Ministry, providing nearly free medical services for the working uninsured here in Wake County. Close one today. The actual high was 71, a little more sunshine than we thought, so it was warmer. We had forecast 68, but that is still 3 degrees, so another $50 for them. $450 is so far our monthly total. All right, back to the weather maps, and there's that area of low pressure. We thought it'd be a little closer, and since it was farther away, we got more sunshine. No complaints there, right? That's why we snuck into the low 70s. But there's our cold front, and you see there is some rain with it, but by the time it gets torn apart over the mountains of North Carolina, there won't be any rain by the time it gets here. But we still have a lot of cold air coming, so let's talk about when that will get here. So we start off tomorrow morning. Again, it looks like some clouds, but that's some patchy fog we could see. As we put the maps into motion, that fog will burn off. And what a great sunny day as we sit through the middle of the day, that cold front coming out of the mountains. It'll be through here tomorrow night. But again, it doesn't come through with any clouds or rain. So you'd think, well, it must not be that strong. Well, that's an incorrect thought, because you will feel how cold it is Thursday morning and throughout the day Thursday. But we're not done with the cold front yet. It kind of hangs out to our south. So throughout the day Thursday, we'll have some clouds and a small chance of rain along with the cold air. But that is not tomorrow. Cold is not in the vocabulary tomorrow. 73 in Raleigh, 72 in Durham, mid-70s down in Fayetteville. And again, that comes with mostly sunny skies and dry conditions. Then the cold air is here Thursday with a high of only 54. Gets colder Friday as we don't get out of the 40s, and even into the weekend. Technically, it might be warmer than Friday, but it probably won't feel like it. Highs of 50 Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, to make matters worse, we've got clouds and scattered rain showers, so cold and wet throughout the day. Sunday, that's why I like Saturday as the pick day of the weekend. And even as we get into next week, and I'm not talking just Monday and Tuesday, I'm talking down the line, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, it's going to stay chilly. So enjoy the 70s tomorrow. It's going to be a long time before we see those temperatures.
I was bracing for those today, but it was nice.
Yeah.
Good day today, a little warmer tomorrow, and then that's gone.
Yeah, it's cold.
On Thursday.
All right, thank you, Wes.
Thank you, Wes. And coming up, another rollout of Obamacare. We dig deeper into enrollment patterns here in North Carolina. Next. Thank you.
Obamacare 2.0 kicks off this Saturday. That's a new enrollment period for the Affordable Care Act. Healthcare.gov, which has been tested several times before the weekend's rollout. Sean takes a closer look at enrollment in our area. Sean.
That's right, Sharon. We took the number of sign-ups the last enrollment period and broke it down by all the zip codes here in North Carolina. This area, Southeast Raleigh, has the most number of plan selections with more than 3,300. The other top counties are areas around Charlotte and also Asheville. What's the other thing we took away from all these maps? Well, obviously more sign-ups in urban areas than rural. Sharon, back to you.
All right, and enrollment period runs through February 15th. There's a statewide toll-free phone number for anyone with questions. You can go to healthcare.gov as well. And coming up, an emotional soldier surprise. The Army firefighter who stunned his children. That's next. This is a great story. A soldier surprise at Fort Bragg for Veterans Day. Army firefighter Staff Sergeant Brian Hessler stunned his children with a fake fire drill after returning from a 10-month deployment. Well, the kids didn't realize what was going on at first, but once they caught on, there you go. It was all hugs, smiles, and even a few tears. That's a pretty good fire drill.
Those videos
right?
never get old. I can just keep rewatching them over and over again. That's fantastic.
Wonderful. All right, well, thanks for joining us. Nightly News is next.
We'll be right back here at 7.
See you then.